Welcome back to another episode of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. I'm your host, Sports Information Director Jagger Furr. With me now is head cross country coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, it was another historical MEC championship for you all. It was a fourth place finish for the women, seventh for the men. You had four total all MEC finishers, two on each side, with three of them being first teamers. Just starting with the women, Natalie Barr was third, Jenna Barnett was fifth. It was a big storyline, I think, though, as well, is that all top five of your runners were in the top 40, which really helped that top four finish for the women. Just thoughts on how they performed.
Yeah, just an unreal day up in Wheeling. On the women's side, they got us started for the day. Natalie's highest finish ever. She put her nose in it. I told her the expectation wasn't to win, it was to compete to win, and she absolutely did that. A huge third-place finish after being sixth last year, back-to-back first-team selections. Jenna Barnett, I mean, we were really hoping for second team. She ran eighth or ninth most of the race, and she came off the hill with about 300 to go in fifth, and actually in sixth, and made a move to get into the fifth position. Just an unreal race. We haven't had, last year was our first time ever having a first team All MEC girl, and to have two this year and two in the top five. We were one of two programs that had two runners in the top 10. We were one of two programs that had two runners in the top five, and that's huge. It was us and Davis and Elkins, and congrats to them. They had a awesome day, back-to-back championships for them. But yeah, it was our highest finish since 1993. I mean, just it's hard to put into words how special that was. It was the first time we've beat Wesleyan since I've been alive, so that was pretty cool, and only be 2 points off Charleston heading into this regional. And I think the girls ran with a chip on their shoulder all year long. To be preseason ranked ninth after finishing fifth last year was so disrespectful. Shows that a lot of coaches didn't do their homework. And now we don't only have one of the top runners in the conference. We have two of the top runners in the conference. Katie, Abby did business as usual. Morgan Ruggles came in huge in our fifth position, and you mentioned it. To have that many girls in the top 40 really helped propel us to this finish. And the girls are itching for more, and to return that whole top five next year is going to be something special.
And then on the men's side, I know seventh wasn't exactly what you and the guys were hoping for as a team, but Nick Pitchford became the highest finisher in program history at number 10 to get that first team spot, and Pat Riley was right there with him at number 13, just like he was last year to get second team. Just thoughts on how the men performed?
Yeah, obviously wasn't our day, and unfortunately a few teams in front of us didn't have probably their best day either. There was a lot of high-profile names of guys that have had success on that course in regular seasons in the past, between 30 and 50. A lot of big names. And that's what happens sometimes with a course that tough. And if you don't execute properly, you don't make moves at the right time, sometimes you kind of get left behind. Nick and Pat kind of led the way for us. Jackson and Caden didn't have the races that they wanted, but they've battled all year, and they took a huge step forward this year. So I'm still going to take that as a positive. And then our three freshmen, the three L's as I call them, Lance, Luke, and Landon, they perform well again. They're always so consistent. They always finish around each other in the meets. Again, returning all these guys next year is something very, very special. And we cleaned up a few things there. Some guys have about a 5 to 10% better day. We have a good chance at fifth. Top five was kind of the goal, but not going to take away the progression of where Nick Pitchford came from last year, over 20-some spots higher than he was last year. Pat, kind of starting off kind of slow in the race and working his way up, doing what he does. And, those guys have a big future ahead of them. And, this guy's team's amped up for the regional and ready to kind of get some redemption to end the season the way we want.
And, after it was all said and done, this was a big day for your program. Just what was your message to your team, once the dust is kind of settled there?
Like I said, the women, very historic day, men not what we wanted, but regardless, the same message to the team afterwards. We were all huddled together with the track team, and I told them that, our tomorrows are always going to be better than our todays moving forward, and that's the way that me and my staff have operated this program this year. And it's not just fake optimism. There's something real. There's something brewing. And like I said, our tomorrows are always going to be better than our todays. And we look to put in the work to make that possible every single day.
And now you'll have a little under 2 weeks to get ready for the Atlantic Regional Championship coming up on Saturday, November 8th. Just what's it look like for your team as you prep for that?
Yeah, so coming off that conference course, we have a little bit more expected soreness that I've noticed over the last few years when we've raced there. So normally we would have, on a normal week, we would have had a quality day this morning, and we moved it to tomorrow. We're going to be on the track for some interval work, and we'll do some light stuff on Friday, and then our final tune-up will be on Tuesday heading into the regional. And we just have to learn to execute a little bit better when we get to Lock Haven. It's a pancake flat course. We can't be timid off the start. Our highest ever finish on the men's and women's side in the Atlantic region, 17th, and I think we have 2 teams that can finish around 12th or better, and that's our goal going into it. So we know if we take the line, if we do our best, that we can bring some more history home, and that's the goal.
Well, Coach, congrats on the big weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had volleyball coach Kiara Perkins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, start out the week with West Liberty on Friday. It was a late start to the week. You kept it close there in the first set. Just West Liberty was able to pull away there in the final 2 sets with a 3-0 victory. Just your thoughts on the loss.
I mean, they're definitely a good team. They have a good program and stuff, and I think we've definitely didn't come out the gate playing at our full potential, which, I mean, it's happened a couple of times, and we know every time that we step on the court, we're just fighting for that consistency.
And then you had Wheeling on Saturday. It was a quick turnaround. It was a very tightly contested first set. They took it. You all were, able to pretty handily take that second set. Just Wheeling came out hard in those final 2 sets and took the match. Just what'd you like out of your team on Saturday?
Definitely saw a lot of good things, which, I mean, we saw some good things on Friday too. But during that second set, especially, I mean, coming out with 20 kills in that set alone, that was pretty huge for us. Just a little bit more difficult carrying the momentum with us the rest of the game.
Now you'll be back on the road this week with Davison Elkins and Frostburg State. You already saw D&E this season and swept them at home. Just what would you like to see out of your team this week as the season starts to wind down a little bit?
Not taking any team lightly. I know that's huge, especially towards the end of the season, because everyone's getting happy and thrilled for playoffs coming up. And I think just going out with our full intensity and really pushing every team to their best ability, I think that's what we're aiming for the rest of the season.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
This fall, GoMart's got your chance to kick your tailgating game up a notch. Now through the end of October, enter GoMart's Get in the Game contest for your chance to win the ultimate tailgate package. Win a $200 GoMart gift card, tailgating supplies, a pop-up tent, a portable grill, and a cooler. It's everything you need to pregame for your favorite team. To be entered to win, head to your local GoMart and scan the QR code in-store. Visit the GoMart app or GoMart.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I've had women's soccer coach J.R. Dodson. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Jagger.
All right, Coach, you started out the week at Western Wesleyan on Wednesday. It was a 3-1 defeat. We talked about it last week, how difficult it can be playing there with it being a grass field compared to the usual turf. Just what are your thoughts on Wednesday's loss?
It was a tough one. We hate to make excuses in sports, but I think our girls have been resilient this year. I was talking about it the other day and was looking at when we went from our first game of the season to where we were at Wesleyan. We had 3 starters left that weren't injured. And so I think our girls have been resilient to keep us competitive, to keep us in games. And it was a tough loss. That grass is tough. And hats off to Wesleyan. They're playing well.
And you had D&E here on Sunday for Senior Day. It was a 2-0 win. It was a much-needed win, especially after Wednesday's loss with the way the standings are right now. The 2 goals scored were really nice shots, especially Kitos' shot was spectacular, I thought. Just what did you think of the win?
The win was really good. Yeah, the win was really good. It was the girls came out and played hard. I think if the girls continue and keep that energy from the D&E game and the way they played, I think we're going to have a good outing against Charleston and set school history by getting into the third place.
And you mentioned you got Charleston, Western State on tap this week. Two teams you've already played this season. You played them close, both of them. Just unfortunately, you're down a few more players, like you also mentioned, than what you were the first time around you played these two teams. Just how do you feel you match up with them this week?
I think we match up well against Charleston. I think we let it slip by early in the season. I think our girls are up for the task, and I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a tough game. Charleston's always tough, but I think our girls are ready for it.
And the injuries has really been a topic of discussion all season long, just because of how many there's been. But Solaris Solano has really been able to keep this offense flowing and moving. She's tied for third right now in goals with 9. Just how key has she been for you this season?
She's been a beast. Solaris has been a beast. She's a hard worker, a great kid, and I think the future is going to be big for her. I mean, she's only 2 goals off tying the all-time most goals in the season, and I think I think she can very easily get that and surpass it. I think she's been really good for us. And to back up just a little bit, to touch on the injuries, Jagger, someone mentioned to me the other day that maybe we needed more depth, and I think that's exactly what we have, or we wouldn't be where we're at
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
We are. It's hard to imagine. So I've been for here 5 seasons now. The first 4 seasons we had 2 ACL tears in 4 years. This year we've had 4. So I think our depth has been fantastic this year to be able to compete and be where we're at. So I'm excited for Charleston. I'm excited with what Solaris is doing, and I'm excited about what our girls have accomplished with the perseverance they've had to show to get through and make us and to be in the position where we're at. The great thing, Jagger, is we still control our destiny.
Yep.
Go out and win Wednesday, and we're going to be in a really, really good position.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming in. Good luck this week.
All right, thank you, Jagger.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I have head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, happy to be back. Been a little while since we talked wrestling.
Yeah, it's been a while. Just wanted to go back in time a little bit. You finished last season 12th at Nationals. You had 4 All-Americans, which was a program high in a single season. You knew that what you were losing and what you were also bringing back. Just kind of take me through your game plan as you went into the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, last year, had a great team, ranked number 2 for, I believe, at least 3 of the cycles of the season. And so a lot of talent that left, a lot of talent coming back. I think all of us that were here last year know that team was a lot better than 12th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Had some things fall apart at the end of the year. But with that being said, still had, a milestone year and winning back-to-back conference championships. First regional championship in the history of the program, and then having the most All-Americans we ever have, and all 4 of them also being first-time All-Americans.
Yep.
And so, really proud of last year, but very excited to kind of get into this year and be working, and this group's been great. A lot of guys that are just putting their head down and getting ready to go. I'm excited for, our guys that were returning to get back to it this weekend and kind of prove that, they're still here and they're still the top guys and show the country, hey, you're going to have to still chase me and I'm going to be up here winning or looking for a national championship. And then I think we got a lot of new guys that are have a great opportunity this weekend to get some ranked wins, beat some good guys, start creating confidence and getting that season rolling. But yeah, I mean, it's a good mix of the older and younger this year. Last year we were a pretty old team, and this year, we really went out and decided, in the portal that we weren't going to look for as many one and dones. That we were going to look for guys to go in that we would have for multiple years here, and so being able to go get talent, right? But get talent that we could continue to develop for a long time and not have one semester with them. And, I think long term that's looking really good, especially with, adding in the recruits that we're looking at in this year's class, for next year. It looks like, we get a couple guys here and there. We could put together teams that are set up for 4 or 5 years. I I love recruiting, and recruiting's a massive part of it, but bringing in 21 guys is not something I want to do every single year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of legwork to bring in. And so, we went with a little bit more youth and a little bit more of the development. And I'd say that's what we're going to be doing going forward, is more looking for that happy medium of transfer portal and freshmen, rather than so heavy on the transfers, or at least so heavy on the upperclassmen transfers where they're one and done. We're going to be looking for guys that we at least get 2 years out of, and kind of can come in and stabilize the program as well.
And the transfers were a big topic of discussion last year when you first got on here, because the season, or before the season, because of just how much success you had in 23 and 24, and you needed guys who would be able to come in and just compete at the highest level immediately. That was obviously the case. Kyle Hammett, Gabe Honorado were All-Americans in the first year. Hayden Pummel, I mean, you mentioned the unfortunate ending there with the injury that he had. Caleb Brooks had a good season. How big of a selling point was that for you when you were digging into the portal and showing guys, what they were able to do just in 1 year? I know you want more years with them, but how big of a selling point was that for you?
Yeah, I think, like anything, since we've started becoming successful in the program, tangible results are huge to be able to talk about with recruits, because it's not really a sales pitch anymore. As much as you're trying to sell your program and sell what you're doing and the dream of a national title and the vision of the program, there's tangible results connected to it.
Yep.
So you can say what you want, and then you can also say, and here it's been done multiple times, right? We've done it with developing guys from the beginning, like Gavin Kiocho, who was a 2-time national finalist and was here as a freshman, didn't make the national tournament as a freshman. Sophomore year won a national title. Junior year made national finals. And then we've done it, with guys, like a Hammett, like a Hayden, who came in their first year, kind of lit it on fire. Honestly, all of those guys did All-American last year. Colton's been here for 2, but he redshirted, so it was his first real opportunity too. Boom, gets on the podium. Gabe's first year, same thing, ready to go, gets on the podium. Pummel was number 1 all year, and then Hammett being in here as well. And we had other guys too that said, like Brooks had an amazing year. Multiple guys that came in, won, and ready to go. And I think this year you're going to see that from us, right? I think you just might see it in some freshmen.
Yeah.
And so we got some really good freshmen and transfers that, like I said, I think this weekend could be their coming out party.
And in total, it's a 21-man recruiting class, like you mentioned, 11 transfers, 10 freshmen. It's a healthy mix there. You got guys from Division I, Division II, Division III, and some really good high school wrestlers, who've won multiple state championships, a lot of them actually. Just kind of give me an early impression of this new group of Pioneers.
Yeah, the 21 guys that we brought in, a lot of talent, and even some of the kids who maybe weren't as talented, right, on paper, they've came in and really worked. We have just multiple guys that I'm thinking of right now in my head that I'm seeing them in the room constantly getting extra workouts in, and it's showing. Through our simulation matches, through our inter-squad scrimmage, through our scrimmage against D&E. How much better they're getting, and we have one kid who he's wrestled a guy on our team a couple times, got majored or teched the first couple times, and you go about a month later and comes back and beats him. But that's what you want, and you're going to see a lot with freshmen is maybe a little bit of inconsistency at times, and so we try to bring their floor up a little bit closer to their ceiling. And so that'll be working with that in development. But, man, they're going to continue to get better, right? In December, they're going to be, kind of unrecognizable from what they are now. And then, obviously, again, in March when we peak them. Really excited about it. Jimmy Bales has been really great for us, coming in. He's a stud. David Pinto from New Hampshire. Moses Eads transferred in from Bluefield State. He's been doing great for the team as well. Connor Holm, he's shelved right now for a little bit, but when he gets back, we really like what he's doing. And so, that's just a few names, but man, there's a lot of good guys in that 21 that we brought in that I think are going to have their moments this year to shine, right? And then, go out there and wrestle and, show us, hey, I'm one of the best 10. I'm worthy of being here because, you start the season number 8 and you get to where your program's pretty good. We got a lot of good guys on this team with only 10 spots. And so, we ran into that last year. We talked about it a lot.
100%,
We had multiple guys who were unbelievable wrestlers, right? Who were fighting the whole year to get into that lineup, and that's great, right? Because that allows our guys to push each other and make each other better in the long term, whether it's their turn this year or it's their turn next. But yeah, no, the class has been great. It's been one of the most fun years I've had so far as a coach. We brought in associate head coach Chris Bassford as well, and he's been a massive help for us. I think the guys have really resonated with him since he got here on campus, which has been nice. And yeah, the group's just been great for us. It's been really easy to coach, and that's what you want when you have that. Maybe if you even don't have the talent that you've had in the past, right, because they're a little younger, right? Right now, it feels like it's going to be really easy to get them to the talent of any team that we've ever had because of how willing they are to get in there and listen and excited to compete. And so, yeah, these 21 guys, with our guys that came back, it's been a great mold, and I think this is a pretty special team.
And you mentioned the guys coming back. I mean, you returned All-Americans Nick Johnson, Colton Trucius, and Gabe Honorado. Hayden Pummel, who like we said, was number one in the country a lot last year. Hunter Ross is back. We've talked about the newcomers, but how do you like the mesh of this year's team with the new guys and with the returners?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really great. With all of them, you have your 3 All-Americans back, plus your guy who probably had the best accolades for the whole year with being number one in the country. Nick and Colton have been a little banged up, so they're not going to wrestle this weekend, but they're real close to getting back. And so that'll be nice to put those 2 guys in the lineup. I think Nick's 3rd to start the year, Colton's 5th. Then you have Gabe back, who's number 2 to start the year. He's going to be able to go this weekend, and kind of excited to knock the rust off a little bit for him. And then Hayden's the 10th going into the year, which, that ranking is mostly based off of everybody that was ahead of him was a guy who was an All-American or made it farther in the national tournament where he had to get medically forfeited out. And so I think all of us know that Hayden's a lot better than number 10 in the country, including himself. And so, it's just for him, I think, getting back to exactly what he was doing last year, right? And hitting the groove there. Really excited for Ross. He's had a great preseason. He looks good. I think it's going to be the most consistent year he's ever had, which will be really good for him. We've moved him around a lot, and he's did everything that we've asked for him. So I'm excited for him to get a shot at it. And then Zach Parker, who had a great redshirt years back. Ethan Hardy's back at 41 as well, who was a national qualifier there 2 years ago. We brought in Max Borton, who was a Division III All-American at 184. Colby Whitehill's back off injury as well. He was nationally ranked last year in a Midwest placer. And so, yeah, it's a great mold of guys that I'm really excited about. And like I said, it's it's Tuesday, and pretty much since Saturday when we finished our inter-squad scrimmage, all I've thought about is these guys wrestling someone else. And so I'm kind of antsy, just like I said, to see the old guys get back at it, and more so for me is see a little bit of these new guys and what they're going to bring to the table.
And we talked a lot about your wrestlers for this year, but let's talk schedule a little bit. You're not running away from the competition, that's for sure. Some D1 schools in there, and then you look at the Division II schools. I mean, Grand Valley, UIndy, St. Cloud State, Lander, Tiffin, Ashland, McKendree, Maryville, a lot of national competitors. Just kind of walk me through your thought process with this year's schedule.
Yeah, I mean, about 3 or 4 years ago, we got kind of close to what this schedule is, and, we bump around a little bit with everything. But my philosophy is always going to be that we got to wrestle the best guys and see as many guys as we can before the national tournament. I always liked getting my hands on someone before I got to the actual national tournament. I didn't want to wrestle someone for the first time in the national quarterfinals when it meant, the
Everything.
most. Yeah, and so I want to give these guys the opportunity to do that. I also want to give these guys an opportunity to have a schedule that the biggest programs in the country have. If we're going to recruit and be a powerhouse program, we want to be able to give this opportunity to recruits that other top Division IIs get. With wrestling Division I guys, and then everybody in the toughest things in Division II as well. And so it's only going to help us at the end of the year, right? We'll pick and choose where some of our guys wrestle. Some of the older guys will probably wrestle a little bit less, and then we're going to get those younger guys on the mat as much as we possibly can. But overall, it's just to push them, right? I don't think taking losses is a bad thing. Some coaches really want to protect seeds, right? the whole year they're worried about, well, if we wrestle here, he's got a tough one against the number 5 guy, and we're the number 3, and we might go down, and then national tournament. And I don't know. Maybe it works out for them sometimes. I think overall, though, the overreaching is going to be that your guys are going to get better when they face good competition. And so we're not shy of that. To be honest, I really wish that more Division I's would schedule us. And so, I was talking to someone the other day. Luckily WVU has been awesome with being my alma mater and bringing us up there, to do that. But, even with that, we're at a quad, and Appalachia State agreed to wrestle us. But, the quad has Princeton in it. Well, we're not wrestling Princeton. So what happened there?
Yeah.
And then I reach out to probably close to 15 other Division I's to wrestle and got no's from everyone. And so I get it, right? Like, I wrestled Division I and coached it. I get there's no real upside to wrestling a D2, right? Because of the RPI, like it hurts their guys if they lose. It doesn't give them an upside if they beat the number 1 guy in the country at D2. It doesn't even count for them. So I understand it, and it's also, probably not a good look if a D2 comes up and makes it close or beats you. It's probably a good way to get fired. So it's not like I'm mad about it, because I totally understand it. I just, from our side, it would be nice if a couple more people would.
Be a great opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, to I don't know, take that challenge, right, and not look at it in that way of, well, this doesn't do anything for us, and it be, well, this is a pretty good team, so this will be good for our guys to wrestle good competition. But yeah, we're not going to shy away from competition. We're going to go wrestle. We're going to wrestle a lot, and we're going to wrestle everybody that's out there to get our guys ready for the national tournament, because that's what's the most important.
And the season officially starts this Saturday with the 14-team Pioneer Open presented by GoMart here inside the Waco Center. It's a long, busy, but exciting day. I know, like you said, you're itching to be able for this to start. Just what do you want to see out of your guys in the season opener?
Yeah, well, we've talked about this a lot, and it's mostly focus for 7 minutes and going out there and kind of letting it rip, not being nervous about the situation now that you're, wrestling other people other than yourself. I thought we did a good job of that in our scrimmage, but for some of those guys, they're going to get nervous, right? It's going to happen, and so, getting that first one out of the way and then kind of getting in the groove for the day. But yeah, we have Bryce Nichols is going at 125 for us. He's a freshman. That's gonna, I'm really excited about his maturation there. With Colton being out, he'll be our scorer, and then you got Hunter Ross and Matt McAfee, both great wrestlers at 133. Both placed in this tournament last year. 41, we got a plethora of guys with Hardy and Parker and Ethan Mitchell coming in, Cleveland State transfer, Andrew McDowell. And so we'll throw a lot of guys there. I think 49, we got Gabe and Egidio DeFazio. Egidio's a transfer from Lake Erie. 57, we have 6 guys in it. Moses, who I talked about, Jimmy Bales, who I talked about, Gabe's brother, Roman Autorado's in there as well, Aiden Hutchins, Blake Douch, Tommy Reed. So all those guys are going to get it mixed up in one class. Fun stuff. And then on the top side, like I was talking about, you got Colby at heavyweight coming back. You got Justice Stewart going up to 97. He'll look great there. Max Borton returning All-American D3, 84. Hayden coming back at 74. And then David Pinto at 65 right there. We're freshmen we're really excited about. And then you got the other guys in there with Pierce and Zach Holston and Zach Meisenzahl and trying to think if I've kind of left anybody out of there. Eric Brothers, he'll be wrestling unrostered, but he'll be available for a second semester WVU transfer. So a lot of guys, right, that's going to get thrown in there, and probably a lot of new names for people who listen to this. That is going to be exciting, right? It's going to be exciting, and I'm not a coach who really puts much thought into a wrestle off, especially early in the year, and so I want to see who these guys can go beat. Right? It's not about wrestling our guys. We've wrestled our guys for long enough here. I kind of know where that's at. I want to see who they can go beat in the country. Like I said, I think some of those freshmen and some of those transfers are they're about to have their coming out party this Saturday, and I'm excited about it.
Well, Coach, I'm certainly excited for the season, and we appreciate you coming on in. Good luck this Saturday.
All right, thank you.